Aloha! Today we're exploring how residential uses are defined and regulated under Article 5 of Honolulu's Land Use Ordinance, which is Chapter 21 of the Revised Ordinances of Honolulu. Residential zoning plays a vital role in shaping our neighborhoods, guiding housing types, and ensuring compatibility with surrounding uses. Please note this presentation is for training purposes only, and you should always review the actual land use ordinance and other applicable regulations before you embark on a project. But first, let's do a quick big picture review of the land use ordinance. This is where the zoning districts are established and development standards like height and lot coverage are set. The master use table specifies which uses are allowed where. Articles 3, 4, and 5 specify the development standards for each use, and Article 10 houses definitions for each use. Finally, it establishes that the zoning maps show where the districts are. If you would like more information about the land use ordinance, please view some of our other training videos. Ordinance 25-2, also known as Bill 64, updated use names and definitions, updated permissions where a use is allowed and what kind of permit is required, added uses, updated specific use development standards, and reformatted the master use table. The changes specific to residential districts is our topic today. Ordinance 25-2 relocated the master use table from Article 3 to a newly structured Article 5. It groups by broad use category, for example, residential, commercial, agricultural, industrial, and institutional, with clearer formatting and cross-references. It is where you can find the residential uses category, its three subcategories, and the land uses within each subcategory. Residential uses are grouped into three subcategories, each of which includes several related land uses. The three subcategories are household living, group living, and accessory residential. One important definition in the residential use category is family, which is defined as one or more natural persons all related by blood, adoption, guardianship, marriage, or other duly authorized custodial relationship occupying a dwelling unit or lodging unit, or no more than 5 unrelated natural persons. It's also important to note that each of the land uses discussed in this presentation are defined in Article 10 of the Land Use Ordinance. The household living subcategory has 4 land uses: a single unit dwelling, which has one dwelling unit in one structure, a 2-unit dwelling, which has 2 dwelling units in one structure on one zoning lot, a duplex unit dwelling, which has 2 dwelling units in a structure that straddles the property line of 2 zoning lots, and finally, a multi-unit dwelling, commonly referred to as an apartment or condominium, which has 3 or more dwelling units in one structure. The second subcategory is group living, which is made up of 3 land uses. These are vital uses that are very important within the community, who have unique needs or living circumstances. A small state-regulated group living facility can have up to 8 care recipients, along with a resident manager and their family. These are often adult residential care homes and special treatment facilities holding state license. Small group living that is not state licensed can also have up to 8 care recipients and a resident manager with a family, but it requires a major conditional use permit. A large group living facility is a facility with 9 or more residents. It also requires a major conditional use permit. Large group living facilities often include dormitories, assisted living facilities, and special needs housing for the elderly. The third subcategory is accessory residential. There are 5 land uses within this category. Accessory dwelling units, or ADUs, and Ohana units both give landowners opportunities to increase the number of dwelling units on a property. Home occupations allow people to operate a business out of their dwelling as long as it is not impactful to the neighborhood. Rooming allows up to 3 additional people to live in a dwelling unit with a related family occupying the dwelling unit. Finally, a caretaker unit is a dwelling occupied by the owner or caretaker for the purposes of maintenance and security in zoning districts that generally do not allow dwellings. One of the goals of Ordinance 25-2 is to increase housing supply. There are 2 main changes to accomplish this. One, by allowing more units on each residential lot, and 2, by allowing more housing in commercial districts. So now apartments and condominiums are permitted in the B1 and B2 districts. This will open an entirely new area to housing that was previously unavailable, while continuing to ensure that there is still an appropriate level of commercial space. To ensure commercial uses are not displaced by dwellings, the dwellings are allowed above ground floor commercial uses. Or, if the housing is in a separate building, a certain amount of commercial uses, up to 40,000 square feet, must be established before the housing can be built. These will be allowed with a building permit. No land use permit is necessary. As previously mentioned, ADUs and Ohana units both give landowners opportunities to increase the number of dwelling units on a property. This supports multi-generational living, provides rental income opportunities, preserves neighborhood character, and generates affordable housing opportunities. In addition to the primary house, homeowners can now have 1 ADU and 1 Ohana unit on the same lot, up to 3 dwellings total, including the main house. In addition, the maximum size for ADUs was increased from 400 to 500 square feet on lots up to 4,999 square feet, and from 800 to 1,000 square feet on lots 5,000 square feet and up. The size limit ensures that the housing will remain in an affordable range. Ohana units do not have size limits, but they must be occupied by people related to the occupants of the primary dwelling unit by blood, adoption, guardianship, marriage, or other duly authorized custodial relationship. No short-term rentals are allowed in Ohana units or accessory dwelling units. Also, infrastructure checks are required before permitting to ensure there is sufficient sewer and water. Home occupations are a great way to support entrepreneurship while maintaining the integrity of residential neighborhoods. They allow people to operate small-scale businesses from their homes as long as they meet their criteria to ensure there are not negative impacts on neighborhoods. The business must be secondary to the primary residential use and have minimal impacts. It can't change the character of the neighborhood, be excessively noisy, create traffic problems, or require significant exterior changes to the house. To ensure this, several activities are not allowed, including weddings, vehicle repair, base yards, and most industrial uses. Short-term rentals are regulated under the commercial use category, but since they involve the use of dwellings, we will touch on them now. Transient vacation rentals and bed and breakfast homes are the 2 types of short-term rentals. They must be registered with the city, and they are only allowed in all areas of the resort district and resort mixed-use precinct. They are also allowed in the A1 low-density apartment district, the A2 medium-density apartment district, and the apartment mixed-use precinct only in certain areas within proximity to resort areas like Ko'olina, Turtle Bay, and Ho'akalei. These areas are shown on the maps in the Land Use Ordinance. Short-term rentals are only allowed in the residential districts if the owner holds a non-conforming use certificate. This ensures balance between tourism and residential quality of life. More information about short-term rentals is available on our website at honolulu.gov/DPP/STR. In summary, residential uses in the Land Use Ordinance cover a wide array of housing types and activities. The residential regulations are designed to create housing opportunities, allow innovation, and support housing variety to serve all members of our community. Mahalo nui loa for joining me today, and I hope you'll check out our other Land Use Ordinance training presentations.